We're going to talk about suspect Luigi Mangione, the mounting, shocking evidence that is piling up in the murder of CEO Brian Thompson. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to unpack here. It's developing news that's been all over the place. A lot of outlets reporting on the ballistics. I want you to get into it, Ed.
Well, the forensic evidence is piling up against Luigi here. I think more is on its way shortly. So right now, we got fingerprints matching him from the cell phone, the water bottle, the Kind bar, the protein bar, or whatever he was eating there that he got at the Starbucks, okay? Then we got the 3 spent cartridge cases matching as coming from his firearm. We're just waiting on the bullets and next the DNA. From his manifesto, they found out that he had a diary in a spiral notebook. They located that spiral notebook, and it's chock full of information about his thinking, his motivation, what he planned to do at the hotel, because initially he was thinking of using an explosive. And then he said, oh, you know, there might be some innocents involved, so I don't want to do that at their convention. So he knew about their convention. It's in the diary. It's in his book there. I tell you, this is going to be an overwhelming case against him. Everything is just coming together, and he's got no wiggle room, in my opinion, on a defense here.
Gun in question, back from Pennsylvania. It's now at the NYPD crime lab. We were able to match that gun to the 3 shell casings that we found in Midtown. We were also able at our crime lab to match the person of interest's fingerprints with fingerprints that we found on both the water bottle and the Kind bar near the scene of the homicide.
Walk us through some of this new evidence that was uncovered and how significant it is for the case.
Fact that now we definitively know that that ghost gun is in fact the same gun that he used. This is the ghost gun that was taken from him when he was apprehended in Altoona, Pennsylvania, that the gun he had on him was the same gun. So we definitively know that they matched that. The other thing, the fingerprints, that's key for the case because we can have all this circumstantial evidence, but DNA and fingerprints putting this person of interest at the scene of the crime, that is gold for the prosecutor. So a lot of weight given to that. And the NYPD investigators working this case, they don't want to mess anything up later on for the district attorney. So they want all of this really buttoned up. They're being really careful and documenting all of it. A spiral notebook was also recovered from him. And in it, he wrote about potentially using a bomb. He was considering using a bomb for this attack, then rethought it and decided to use a gun because it would be more targeted and it would sort of save innocents' lives. This is in his language. So that's an interesting new detail. It just goes to premeditation, and that will be helpful for prosecutors working the case.
And this is different from the 3-page handwritten document that you've reported on previously.
This is an additional notebook was found with these musings, a notation about a bomb. And so all very interesting and helpful to investigators.
What gives the investigators what, Ed? Time. Investigating.
We're going to go through. Yeah. We're going to go through every aspect of his life. We're going to go through all his social media. We're going to go through that computer with a fine-tooth comb, all his cell phones, all his text messages. Who has he been chatting with? Who was he on the phone with that night? Because he was obviously speaking to somebody on the phone. Now he was. They also recovered a Faraday bag, and for those who don't know what a Faraday bag is where you put your electronics in, like computers and cell phones. And it will stop signals from reaching those items. So it will block the signals to, it's a little more than putting it on airplane mode, but it'll stop any incoming and outgoing signals while that item is in that bag. Think of it like if you have an Easy Pass and you put it into the sleeve, like an RF frequency blocker. One of the things we in forensics use when we seize electronic evidence so that somebody from the outside cannot enter the phone through the internet and then start deleting things while it's in our possession.
And the significance of the evidence that we have here, and the amount of time that the NYPD has to go into the DNA lab we haven't heard if they recovered hair or fibers, what remember they did a search warrant in the hostel, right? In New York
Yes.
City. We
Yes.
haven't heard anything about that. What was
Right.
recovered from there, unbeknownst to this dummy defense attorney who's just representing him on the Pennsylvania charges, which will be deferred or dismissed once the New York City warrant, he's never going to get out. Defense attorney Dickey, representing Luigi Mangione, said that his client, under the Constitution, should have been afforded bail in the state of Pennsylvania. If you're not charged with a capital murder or some high crimes, that you're afforded bail. But he completely forgot to mention that New York City placed a retainer on him, right? I did this so often. You know, you have a retainer. They say to you, look, we can hold them for a reasonable amount of time. But in this case, we have NYPD detectives embedded in Altoona, Pennsylvania, just waiting to scoop this guy up. There's guys and girls that are staying there that when they say he waives extradition, which I predict that he's going to change his mind quickly. And they're going to take him, and it's not going to go to the governor's warrant.
I think he's going to waive it before Christmas, before the holidays. This seems like a home run case, and the defense attorney gave me Johnny Cochran vibes, rest in peace, and O.J. Simpson, because if it was an Altoona local felony forgery, right? Penal Law 170. Yeah, bail would be granted, but this was a high-profile FBI connected case. And
Yeah,
that's